your hands are consistent, your game can go anywhere. Align Max, our newest raised ridge technology, designed to keep you and your game locked in on every shot. Only from Golf Pride. Respect the grip.
Welcome into the Wagyu Filet podcast here on 5 Clubs. Johnson Wagner, Brendon Jonge, and today we're going to be talking all things Tiger Woods. It's the 25th anniversary of his incredible year 2000, and next week on Golf Channel, I'm going to be recreating some of these famous shots, and it got Brendon and I thinking about some of the other great shots that Tiger has hit throughout his career. So I thought it would be fun just to go back and forth and talk about these amazing shots.
Well, before we do that, let's talk about the ones that you're going to get to recreate. When you first told me this, I was like, man, this is really cool. It's going to be busy. It's going to be pretty hectic at times for you. There's going to be some planes, trains, and automobiles for you to get to places, but it really is pretty cool.
It's incredible. So I'm meeting camera crew and my field producer, Andrew Bradley, out at Pebble Beach, and we're starting there. We're going to hit 2 shots from the year 2000 at Pebble. Tiger's shot on 15 during the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It was back right pin, super soft. He was chasing down Matt Gogol, hits the ball past the hole, and it spins back and dunks right into the hole.
Yeah.
And then the only shot, because we've had to work out the timing around Pebble Beach, obviously a busy place. We're going to hit the Tiger shot on 6 fairway when he was in the right rough and hit that incredible shot.
It's going to look a little different.
They've moved now. It's all fairway to first cut over there. I was kind of pushing for the tee shot that Tiger hit that he didn't know, but it was the last ball in his bag off of 18, and he just piped it down the middle. I think that could have been fun to interact with a couple people on that.
I mean, I think that would have been brilliant if Andrew Bradley's standing there and you look at the golf ball and be like, this one's a little scuffed up. Can you hand me another ball? He goes in the bag and no, I can't. That's the last one. That would have been fun.
And I think immediately I would then hit that ball probably into the houses right, which is out of bounds. So maybe we could still find it out of somebody's backyard.
Well, you send him to go find it.
But then so we leave Thursday night on a red eye and to Charlotte, to Toronto, and Tiger Woods' famous shot, Canadian Open, 18th hole, Glen Abbey, right fairway bunker to that back right hole location. And I know you've played Glen Abbey so much, and it's like every time in a practice round you go over there and look at that shot. I mean, he hit 6 iron from pretty much under the lip. Like that shot is the one that's terrifying me the most to go out and recreate.
I was going to say it's probably going to be a 3 iron for you. What are you going to put a little tee under there before anyone gets in there? Just tee it up in the bunker and make sure you pick it nicely.
I think the plan is for me to hit a 6 iron out of the spot and just see where it would go. Obviously middle of the lake, but then yes, try to hit what it would take for me to get on there. I do have a new 3 iron that's got a big fat sole, and I can lift it up pretty quick, but obviously not. That's going to be tough.
Yeah,
that's going to be a tough shot. Then we drive down to Firestone after we do Glen Abbey, maybe park halfway, and famous shot in the dark, the wedge on 18, and Firestone Country Club's been very cool, so they're excited about it, and it's going to work out perfectly with the timing of Golf Central to be able to hit that shot in the dark.
At like 8 o'clock at night, I guess? 8:30 at that time of year?
Yeah, 8:15, 8:30, something like that, which my depth perception at nighttime has gotten a little off, so I'm definitely concerned about what that one's going to look like.
So that's 3.
Yep.
And then?
Sunday, we'll then drive down to Valhalla, where Tiger won the PGA and the playoff over Bob May, and there's a bunch of different shots we're choosing from. Clearly the one in the playoff where he's walking it in, pointing at it. The putt to get into the playoff from the back edge of the green is another one. There's a bunch. We're trying to finalize which ones we're going to do.
How did you guys come up with what shots you were going to choose? Obviously, I mean, when we talk Tiger and special shots that he's hit, there's hundreds through the years. Some mean more than others, obviously. But I mean, how did you guys finalize on what you're going to hit?
Well, Matt Hegarty, who's the executive producer of Golf Central, live from all the stuff there, the studio stuff for the Golf Channel, he came up with the idea, and we all, about 5 of us, kind of spitballed some ideas over the course of a couple months and came up with at least these venues. I was pushing hard for St. Andrews, just because I would want to go to St. Andrews. I think we could have started St. Andrews Thursday and worked our way back and maybe not gone to Pebble, but pretty excited to go to Pebble as well.
Yeah, Pebble's pretty cool. I would imagine you're going to tie it in with a round of golf somewhere around there as well.
There's hopefully a good chance to play Cypress Point on Wednesday, so we'll see. That would be obviously fantastic. But speaking of Tiger shots from 2000, I mean, when you think of St. Andrews, the 3-wood he hit into 14 when he and Steve Williams were trying to pick out the proper steeple to hit.
Right, yeah.
And what did Tiger say after he hit? He's like, "You mean that one, Stevie?" I mean,
yeah, that one was pretty iconic. I mean, throughout that year there were tons. You know, it was funny. We got to talking about this and just thinking, as we said, of all of the shots, like just the lasting memories. I remember the one at this wasn't the year 2000, but the one at Muirfield Village over the back of the 16th green. And that was right after they had changed the design of the 16th hole. So that green was like this. It was absolutely brick hard. I think Jack Nicklaus was in the booth at the time. He pretty much said, "That's dead." Tiger hits this high, soft flop. And I mean, this thing just drops in like a putt. Just unbelievably good. I think Jack might have said that's the best shot I've ever seen at the time.
Which is high praise coming from Jack Nicklaus, who's seen plenty of good shots. I mean, staying at Muirfield, it's the 14th hole, the short little, sometimes drivable, but back right flag on a Sunday. I think he's done it 2 years. 1 year was for birdie where he chipped in from long left, and then the other year he flubbed the chip trying to hit it perfectly, and then chipped it in for par. A very similar shot to what you had said on 16 a couple of years later.
And that green, I mean, that green is so fast from over the back. It's almost impossible. That's one of those when you're marking your yardage book at the start of the round, you put X's over the back of that 14th green, and then, yeah, as you say, hold it from back there twice.
Right. You want to putt from 35, 40 feet short of that hole, and if you miss it short of pin high, and he's long left of pin high. But having a short game like that can bail him out. And the next one I want to go to is the 3-iron he hit out of the fairway bunker at Hazeltine. Because we've been talking a lot about Rory at the Masters, how he was able to curve the ball out from these windows. Like, Tiger was the only one for so long that was able to even think about hitting that kind of a shot.
And as we continue to go through all of these shots, I would say just as far as the best shot or the most difficult shot, that's the one. You know, the heels up against the back lip, the ball so far below his feet, having to curve this thing 30, 40 yards, and then, of course, as he does, knocks the putt in right after that. That to me was the most difficult and the most impressive of all of them.
I mean, maybe I'm going to this one too quickly after, but 2005 Masters on 16, the chip in, with the ball is resting against the second cut and takes forever picking out the right line and where to have it go up, and the iconic call from Vern Lundquist and the way the Nike logo just stopped on the edge of the hole. Was it going to stay? Was it going to stay? And it drops in slowly. I don't know for me if there's a more iconic shot. Obviously, the shot at Hazeltine, I think situationally it wasn't as important.
Yeah.
The chip in on 16 in 2005 at the Masters was absolutely massive in that turning point in that golf tournament, because Chris DeMarco was really making a run.
The fact that Steve Williams and Tiger Woods had already walked up onto the green there, and they're kind of looking at each other, waiting to see if this ball's going to drop in, and it drops in, give each other the worst high five you've ever seen. But the shot really was unbelievable. How about 18 at Bay Hill? Just over and over, it seemed like he'd make that big sweeping putt from left to right, 18 at Bay Hill. I mean, it felt like he did that 4 or 5 different times to win that event. And it is such a difficult putt, as you well know. It's
a difficult putt, and it almost straightens at the end, and it's a putt we all hit in practice rounds. And then you have that putt, and I would always play way too much break and leave it on the high side, and it's sneaky fast towards there. The one that I remember the most was the year he, as it's going in, he pulls his hat off and just throws it to the ground. That's a great call. 18 at Bay Hill. I mean, where did he win there? 8, 9 times?
It felt like it anyway. I know it was something close to that.
I think a shot that's underrated for Tiger was in 2019 when he won the Masters on the 12th hole.
Yeah.
Because in front of him, it was Brooks Koepka, Molinari. Guys just kept making mistakes. And at that point, he was right there, tied for the lead. I don't think he had the lead yet. And he just pins it right over the center of the bunker, onto the back edge of the green, makes that little two-putt, and to show that kind of discipline that he had there was just outstanding to me.
Yeah, it's not one that you're going to put down as one of the most spectacular ones, but you're exactly right. I mean, he knew exactly what he needed to do to win that tournament, and the discipline's the word you use there. I mean, it was probably within inches of where he was aiming to land that ball like that. Another iconic one is the putt down the green at 17 at Sawgrass, the Gary Koch call.
Better than most.
Better than most. Again, you know how difficult that is. We see guys putt that ball in the water. We see a ton of balls miss the green from over there, and Tiger knocks this thing, goes in the right side of the hole, and everyone obviously just goes nuts.
2008 Torrey Pines par 5 13th from the right rough with his foot on the cart path, and that's when Steve Williams said he heard it, like his knee, physically his leg crack.
Yep.
Was that the day? Was that Saturday when that ball got to the back edge of the green and he made the putt coming down the hill for eagle?
He did. He made the putt coming down the hill for eagle on 13. Then a few holes later on 17, that awkward stance where he hits this thing kind of two bounces and goes in the hole. So it was going 15, 20 feet by. But I mean, just the flair for the dramatic to pull off the shots at that kind of time.
And then, I mean, Sunday at Torrey Pines, the putt he has to tie Rocco Mediate and force the playoff. It was a little bit longer, but similar to the putt Ludwig Oberg made this year at the Genesis. And you watch replays of that putt from like worm cam, and that ball, we know the greens at Torrey Pines they're Poana, and late on a Sunday to U.S. Open, they're firm, they're fast, they're going to be bumpy. That ball is bumping every which way, and for it to just grab the right edge and go in, the guy just had an absolute flair for the dramatic. He wanted the moment, and he executed in the moment. I'm not going to call that lucky. He wanted it coming in on the high side. That to me is one of the best putts I think I've ever seen him make.
You know, he had an ability that nobody else has ever had to will the ball to go into the hole. You know, he had this belief that somehow, it doesn't matter what I do, this ball is gonna find its way into the bottom of the hole. You talked about the putt at Valhalla there on 18 at Valhalla, that tricky little 6-7 footer down the hill. You knew he was going to make it. You knew that there was no doubt that Tiger Woods was going to find a way to make that putt.
And it's funny you say that, because when after he made the putt at Torrey and they shot back to Rocco in the scoring area, he's like, I knew it. I knew he was going to make it. And he probably had this just little glimmer of hope that he was going to win the U.S. Open outright that day.
Right. Maybe not this time. Maybe not this time. No, knew it.
But then Rocco played a heck of a match against him on Monday in the 18-hole finish. 18-hole playoff took him to 19 holes. But Tiger, we could go on and on with this. What else you got?
No, I mean, unfortunately, it brings us to kind of the sad question about, are we ever going to see any of this kind of stuff again out of Tiger Woods? I felt like, and I said this to Taylor, we were over at the Open Championship last year, and I watched Tiger play, and it looked like he was walking much better, moving much better. And I said to Taylor, I think Tiger is going to play double-digit events this year. And then it's just one setback after another as far as injuries. Now the Achilles. What are we going to see out of Tiger Woods going forward?
Well, I hope we see him play in more majors, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. I mean, his back, his leg, his knee, his Achilles, as you mentioned, I think it's just becoming too much. And I think as we look forward to what we're going to see, I think hopefully we'll see TGL next year. Hopefully we'll see him play Champions Tour and play those majors out there in events that he can ride and events that don't put on the kind of stress, because Tiger's always said he's not going to compete. He's not going to go play in tournaments he can't win. Yeah. He's got to be at the point right now where no matter how much prep he has, he can't legitimately think he has a chance of winning a major championship anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's kind of sad that that's kind of what we're clinging on to. Like we're having to look for a TGL or simulator golf to get to see Tiger Woods again when we talk about all these unbelievable memories that he's left us.
But he's left us plenty of them. And thanks for listening to the Wagyu Filet podcast here on 5 Clubs. Tune into Golf Channel. Watch Golf Central the week of the Truist Championship if you want to see me royally mess up a bunch of these iconic shots from Tiger Woods 2000. For Brendon DeYoung, Johnson Wagner, we thank you very much.